Hello friends, I just wanted to do this part on camera so you guys can take a look at the method to my madness. I have 4 hinges here and I have 4 bags, 4 bag sets that I have. Hold on. I ended up mitering the top as well because the bottom, I'll let you know why I mitered the bottom. When you're inserting the bag, because the opposite end, this is, I attach this flap to the other side opening of the bag, okay? This is gonna be what I'm gonna attach my hinge to, okay? So this is gonna be glued shut with a hinge. Now, as you can see, this is deeper on the top than it is on the bottom. It's more snug. So that's the reason why I angled the bottom of this hinge. Had I left it straight, the bag would not have gone all the way inside because this is wide and the bag wouldn't sit in all the way. So I open my bag and I just insert this here. So now that is going to be my page. Okay, you want to make sure that it stops here. I'm sliding it up and this is as far as it goes. That's the beauty of cutting this down here. It's not going to go any higher up than that. With that being the case, and with that said, I want to make sure that this hinge on the top is not visible or sticking up above the bag. So that's my reasoning for trimming the tops of these hinges, okay? You learn from past mistakes, and so what I've done is, in the past, I used to take off the tape on both sides and that became a hot mess and I ended up ruining a lot of projects because this tape is unforgiving. And because the bags are thin, even if I put wet glue on it, these bags are very thin. So if you try to take this apart, it's gonna rip and the whole page is no good. When I attach my pages to my hinges, I like starting from back to front. With that being said, make sure that you're putting the pages in the same order. This is the page. I don't want to open them just yet because there's already matting on the inside. I want to make sure that this is going to be my last page and so forth. Okay, it's easier to attach them from back to front because you can see here and then you can fold it back, add the page and fold it back. Whereas if I start in the front, it's going to be harder to see the flap on this side, and you'll see that in just a moment. Everything will start to make sense. What I like to do is I like to take off part of the adhesive on this side and part of the adhesive on the other side. And when you're doing this, make sure that you don't lay it flat on your project because what will happen is you will attach it here and that's not going to be a good thing. So I'm going to take off my backing here so that I can see this here and just kind of fold it over like this. I am going to add, I know this is so hard to show, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna add wet glue on the back, keeping in mind not to lay these edges flat because then you're attaching it to your book and that's not gonna be good. I'm gonna make sure that this is the page I want in the back, which it is, and I'm gonna take the bottom of the bag and insert that in here first, okay? And, okay, and I wanna make sure that it's all the way at the top. And before I press down, I want to make sure that the bag isn't overlapping the score mark because I want my page to be able to to turn, okay? With that being said, this looks good. Now it's attached. Then I can just pull this and just attach, pull this a little bit here and attach, or you can just do one side first and attach. Okay, which makes it easier. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I want to make sure that the bag is okay. When you're working with bags, you need to be okay with the fact that they're not all exactly the same shape or the creases are not all exactly alike. And you've probably noticed that on some of the flaps they're a little bit wonky. And so you have to cut your paper in a way that it won't look wonky, you know? So it's a learning process. But this is the first page. I may have time to do another one before my time runs out on the video. So I'm just gonna check. This is the 3rd page that I want, and it is. I'm gonna do the same thing. And I'm gonna take my backing off on this side. And you don't need a lot, I don't need my adhesive to go all the way to the top because I don't need wiggle room. All I need is wiggle room here at the bottom so that I'll do one side. It'll be easier. And then if you do one side, you can lay it flat, okay? So I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue here. And I am going to make sure I have it on the right side, make sure that that's the page I want, and it is. And I am going to slide this in, make sure it stops, make sure it's not going over my score line, and I don't see my hinge on the top here. That's a good thing. So I'm gonna press this down, okay? And now I'm going to remove the rest of my backing. And I like to still lift my page up just so that I'm staying within or just below my score mark, okay? You don't want to take it off really fast and then you stick it on and then you realize that it's wrong. So it's best to go on the side of caution. And because I ruined it here, I didn't take the tape off. I'll start from the top, okay? You see, and I'm okay with me making mistakes so that you can see, you know, how to remedy the situation. So it's easy either way. You find the way that works for you, and there you go. So those are my 2 pages. Let me see. I think I have time to do all of them. I'm looking at my timer as I'm speaking with you. So now I'm going to make sure this is the second page that I want, and I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to remove my backing, add a little bit of adhesive here just so that I have wiggle room. And that's the only reason why I'm using wet glue, because if you don't and you immediately stick it onto your double-sided tape, especially this brand, you're pretty much in trouble, because it's not going to let you remove it without tearing it. And I want to make sure that everything is aligned here as well. And then I can remove my tape backing. Okay. And press. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll remove it from the top here. And I'm actually going to hold down. So there's different ways of doing this. You'll find your way. Again, whatever works easier for you, okay? And please give yourself some grace and patience, because it takes a little bit of time, you know, and I've been doing this for a long time, and so I kind of just have to remind myself to slow down just so that you can see. It's very different when you're recording and when you're doing it on your own. And I don't want to take anything for granted that you all know what I'm talking about. So you can open this up, slide it in, make sure that it's going to be up as high as it's going to go, where it stops on the crease on the inside of the bag. And I'm just going to remove this, adhere it down, do the same thing on this side. So this is one way that I do my hinges. I do my hinges different ways. This hinge system is called Stack the Deck, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube for that. And the other one is a hidden hinge. That's one of my favorites. That's the other way that I like. But I did things a little bit different, and that's it. I'm not gonna open my flaps, but here are my pages. There's a lot of work left to do here, but this is just the rough part of it. So I have my pages. I like how they open up flat and nice, okay? And 4. Now, it's already, you know, getting a little thick, but not too bad. You're still gonna add a lot of tags and probably pictures and things like that. So it still has room. I only added my ribbon on one side and not on the other because I don't know what paper or I want to use on the back. But that's it. That's all I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show you the front cover just yet. But that's how I attach my pages to the hinges. And I'll see what I show you guys next. Thank you guys. I'll see y'all later.